That sounds really fun. Imagine one-shotting characters. I don't think it's that bad. Generic intro and theduckgoesmoo. We're back with some more Bad Weapon Academy by Fish Stick on a Stick. Today we have the Enforcer, which I don't really think is a gun I've used before. I might have used before in like a randomizer server or whatever. It looks kind of familiar. I'm not exactly sure. You want to check out my reaction to the last one, which was the red tape recorder. I'll leave it right there. I'll also link down below in the description. Also, maybe I should make a playlist for Bad Weapon Academy. I don't know. It's 18 videos. I guess there's going to be like 17 on my channel, but he is coming out with new ones progressively, and I will react to those as they come out. I have loved this series so far, and you have shown so much support for them, so thank you so much. Sunday should be the newest video from ST Black ST, the newest Unusual Troubles. I react to all of those, and I absolutely love them. I've loved this series. It's taught me a lot about the game. I haven't played the game in weeks. I'm taking a break. I was like, okay, I finally got a graphics card. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna get... My brother's going to make a desk. I'm going to be able to start streaming Team Fortress 2. I'm going to stream it like every week. I'm going to play it so much. Scream Fortress is here. And then everything just went wrong. And everything is going terrible. And I just can't get the desk. I just want to play Scream Fortress. I want to play it so bad. I hear so many great things about it. I just want to play it. But shout out to the patrons. They get the videos a day early. And Lobbyton, I have a paywall on the channel. So shout out to them. Shout out to everybody that leaves a comment, because I'll read every single comment. Let's go ahead and jump on into the Enforcer. Oh, man. God, this series has been so good. I feel like I've used this thing before. Or maybe it was a different revolver. I'm not sure. It might have been our randomizer server. Okay. Oh. Well, he's hitting a scout with it. Oh. God, I want to play Scream Fortress so bad. I saw that Fish Stick was actually a streaming team, or Scream Fortress, the other day. And, new ST Black ST video will be reacted to on Sunday. Is that an eye shot or a headshot? I don't know. Is it? Nope. This doesn't seem terrible. I don't know what makes this a bad weapon. Wow, nice shot. Why are there so many scouts? Why are there so many scouts? Scouts and spies. Great. Spy. Gun spy TO2 is my best spy kill streaks. Oh.
Welcome to Bad Weapon Academy, where we take a look at the worst weapons TF2 has to offer.
Yeah,
I show you how
we've
to
had some bad ones.
The response on the last video was
ones.
pretty damn close to unanimous in terms of what weapon you guys wanted to see next.
The Enforcer.
When you guys weren't feeding me flat out
Yeah.
misinformation in regards to sapper functions, you were telling me that I should take a look at Spy's most overlooked revolver.
The
Most overlooked?
I want my name to be Spaghetti. All right, Spaghetti.
What is that a reference
Whatever,
to?
I don't care.
I think, like the last episode, I should talk about the role the Spy's revolver even has. The revolvers
Red
are
Scout
most useful
is
for two
not.
things.
Wait, he's as a scout,
Self-defense once
moving
you've been
slow.
caught out, and finishing off low health targets. The L'Étranger is the only one that really isn't good at either, but it's passable, and the main draw is the incredible passive upsides rather than raw damage. For that, you'd go to the Ambassador or the Diamondback. The Diamondback if you have more integrity and other people having fun. And you're playing Spy, so of course you do. Thanks to Spy's ability to see what the enemy's health is when he's looking at them, something that only medics using the Solemn Vow are also capable of, the finishing off low health targets attribute is where I find the revolvers really shine. This is because you're not only able to pick out the perfect target at the perfect range just by looking at them,
I guess.
but you have
I guess I never realized that was Spy only.
And invisibility. And then with the Ambassador and Diamondback, your window of when a target can be gunned down in a single shot opens up immensely. And that's really important for Spy, where you're extremely fragile, and having to shoot any more than is absolutely necessary can be the difference between life and death, especially when you have to deal with the notoriously difficult bullet spread of the revolvers. Across the board, the revolvers increase your effectiveness as an assassin by giving you access to a wider range of potential
That was a nice
targets.
ragdoll.
And when you get to the Enforcer, it just gets kind of weird. And to understand why, we need to look at the stats. You get a 20% damage bonus when you fire this gun while disguised. This brings your maximum damage up to 72 at max ramp up, compared to the 60 you'll normally do at max ramp up. This means that if you hit them while disguised first, you can two-shot light classes without having to headshot them, or backstab someone, or sap a building first. Considering a lot of your targets are going to be light classes, that's not a terrible upside. But in reality, it rarely comes into play because you need to be at point blank range to get the full benefit. I mean it. If you're not so close to them that you can smell their farts, it's just not going to do shit for you. If you back up at all, I mean at all, while you're trying to kill someone this way,
Wow.
they'll be left with single-digit HP and just kill you. It's not great for self-defense
Why
because
is
you're rarely
drop
going
off
to
that
be
bad?
caught out well disguised and live to fight back, meaning you just have a stock revolver with a 20% slower firing speed and no random crits. The same downside the Ambassador has, with way less potential for damage. The only real use for this mechanic in terms of what the revolver is already good
I don't know
at
if I've ever
is
used it.
finishing off low health, unaware targets with a marginally higher threshold than stock. But at that point, why not just use the Ambassador? Here's a question.
Oh no.
Would you rather do 102
What was that?
damage for the low price of clicking on someone's head at what is a very beneficial range for you where cloaking right afterwards makes you very difficult to track down, or do 72 damage in the range where your knife will one-shot them even if you're looking them right in the face half the time?
Exactly. Why use the gun when you have a
can
knife?
Still do decent headshot damage at slightly longer ranges.
Jesus.
Even more than the Enforcer will put out when right behind
Why is
the
he
enemy.
refusing to
And
like
with the
aim at him?
Diamondback, it's even better since Valve are fucking weirdos who didn't think that the Diamondback deserved the same crit fall-off treatment.
I like
as
how the
gun
engineer's
that
just
actually
ignoring. Oh, this
requires
is
you to
engineer. Okay.
aim. Seriously, there is no fucking reason not to use the Diamondback. A lot of people in the comments of the last
That's
video
what
were
I've heard.
really
I think that's
adamant
the one
that
I've
the
used.
Ambassador was still a bad weapon, but this is just a
What?
worse version of the Ambassador. So what does that tell you?
What, did
The
he get bumped?
Ambassador, in the right range, can reliably two-shot scouts, soldiers, pyros, demos, engineers, medics, snipers, and spies. The Enforcer can reliably two-shot snipers, and maybe engineers, but only if they don't have a dispenser right next to them. Although you basically have to be breathing down their necks in order to do so,
That's a sapper, not
in
the
which
red tape
case,
recorder.
why not just backstab them unless they're wearing the Razorback or they're an engineer with their back against the wall? And without the benefit of headshots, the slow firing speed really pimps this thing.
Oh, did he
and
only
once
get
you're
one?
not disguised,
Oh, he missed
this
his first
is just a worse stock revolver in 90% of your interactions, with a few
Doesn't
exceptions.
seem like a very viable option. It really doesn't.
This thing is a damage resistance piercer. So any enemy under the effects of a bullet vaccinator charge, an enemy with a battalion's backup boost, a heavy using the Fist of Steel, Brass Beast, or Natasha, an invisible spy, and even a sentry gun under the effects of the Wrangler will have their damage resistance completely nullified. This is an interesting attribute because it kind of fits with Spy's infiltrator theme. Like he's breaking through the enemy defenses, but it's so specific that you're rarely going to come across situations where this gun will work for you. So what are those situations? Well, the first and most obvious one is Razorback snipers. Spies using stock, and especially the L'Étranger, will have some trouble with these guys because they require at least 3 shots to kill. And again, with the revolver's bullet spread, that can be dicey. And the sniper has a good chance to just headshot you or random crit you with his melee. Being able to two-shot the sniper removes a lot of that window of vulnerability. And you'll be able to close the distance on them very easily because Razorback snipers typically have the worst tunnel vision in the game. But again, the Ambassador and Diamondback will just do the job better. The next is against all those damage resistances I just mentioned.
Yeah, like I said, the damage resistance, that sounds awesome.
The biggest strength and weakness of the Enforcer. Because let's be real, damage nullification is really, really annoying. And having a tool to bypass that is pretty cool. But the instances where it comes into play are incredibly limited. Vaccinator medics and Battalion's backup soldiers are without question the best situations to use this gun. But they're not only far from a guarantee, they're actually pretty rare. Despite Zesty Jesus' best efforts to put
Zesty Jesus, I haven't told Direct this stuff.
I barely see people using it. And as a sniper main, I'm very happy to report that Vaccinator medics are a very uncommon
I see them all the time.
Heavies using the Fist of Steel can be annoying,
I run into them
but they usually only take it out when they're advancing or retreating. So it might really only come into play if you see a Fist of Steel heavy running away to safety and you can't catch up to him before he gets to a health pack or gets to spawn. They're ultimately very easy backstab targets. The same goes for Brass Beast.
I guess you gotta always switch to it mid-game.
And that only comes into play if they're under
like a rock, paper,
half
scissors
health.
kind of thing.
So if you want to two-shot one of those guys, you'd have to wait until they're at least 132 health while they're spun up and focusing on something completely different.
Jumps off.
Get right up to them to get max ramp up and shoot them twice with a gun that has low firing speed when they can whip around and delete you at close range to get the full benefit.
That's Put-His-Bird.
Or you can just backstab them. This is the only possible way the Enforcer can be good against these targets, because at the range where this
just kill 2 people and dip.
Effective,
yeah.
you just get
Sword
shredded if
versus
they're
knife.
aware of you. But if they're unaware of you, then what's even the point? That's your entire job as spy, to kill people who don't know you're there. Another one to mention is wrangled sentries, and this is both good and bad. See, wrangled sentries are already extremely vulnerable to spies because the engineer has to be occupied with the wrangler in order to use it.
Yeah, and they can't defend
his wrench is put away, and you can easily sap the sentry, rendering it useless. The damage-piercing effect is only potentially useful in a situation where you have a long-range vantage point on an engineer who is currently wrangling his sentry.
I don't think it's that bad.
Then, with a base damage of
I think it has a very, very strong use case.
6 shots to bring down a level 3 on a gun with a slow firing speed.
Yeah.
Why? Now, you can potentially do some high IQ plays where you use the sapper on a wrangled sentry, hope to God he goes for the sapper instead of one-shotting you with a random wrench crit, 2-shot the engineer while he's trying to remove it, then gun the sentry down. But honestly, you'd be better off just letting the sapper run its course if the engineer is already dead, because the sapper disables the wrangler effect anyway, and the Enforcer does not pierce a hidden effect of the sapper, which is something known as sapper armor. This is a function that lowers the damage of all spy revolvers on sap buildings by 33%, so that engineers don't get screwed over so hard by spies. Now, if
I didn't know that sapper armor was a thing.
That would be a very useful feature, especially with the extra damage while disguised, making this an optimal sentry buster gun. But it doesn't.
Yeah.
We can only hope.
You
However,
can still sap
it
even
is
if it's
actually
wrangled,
pretty
right?
good against wrangled mini sentries, which can be especially annoying to fight since it can easily 3-shot them. So again, that only leaves us with 5 things this gun is good against: Razorback snipers,
it's very unique
minis,
in the thing that it's good
vaccinator
with.
medics, battalions backup soldiers,
I've seen
and
so many
invisible
vaccinator
spies.
medics.
In regards to vac medics and backup soldiers, Spy is already in a position to counter both
I could
of
keep
these
showing this
reasonable
clip, 'cause that's the
effects
only
due to his
time he
ability
ran
to
into one, I'm
backstab
guessing.
and instantly kill them even with a damage resistance buff. But having a backup tool for if that goes south is useful, especially since the weapons are kind of unintuitive for new players, meaning people who use these weapons are usually fairly experienced and will know to check
I mean, you
wouldn't
wouldn't use it if you didn't know how to use it.
However, because of that fact to begin with, these are going to be very difficult targets, and vaccinator medics in particular will fall back to their pocket long before you're able to finish them off, especially with the slow firing speed. As for invisible spies, this is something that rarely comes up since spy versus spy matches are so infrequent, but if you can hit someone using the dead ringer, it works on that too. But your prediction will need to be masterful, especially with that fucking speed boost. And if you get a disguised point-blank shot on a kunai dead ringer spy before he gets a backstab, he's dead instantly. And that can be a big bonus because those fuckers are really annoying to kill. I really wish I had some kind of big brain secret strategy to pull out of my ass with this weapon. But I just
know when
don't.
to use it.
It doesn't even work right in manpower mode according to the wiki. The upsides
what do you mean it doesn't work?
Really specific, and only work for you in a select few situations. This is a situation that's a lot like the last episode where I really don't recommend using this right out of the gate. I barely recommend using it at all. If you have time in the pre-round, then what I'd recommend doing is using your disguises to see what weapons the enemy is using. If you see a vaccinator medic, a backup soldier, a razorback sniper, or a wrangler engineer, then sure, go for it. The sad thing is, it's not unusable since it's basically just the stock revolver with a slower firing speed and no random crits. But there's also no reason to use it because why wouldn't you just use the stock revolver with a faster firing speed and random crits? On the subject of crits, if you really want to just meme around with a friend, get a crits medic to charge on you for a 144 damage disguised crit. Forget two-shotting like classes, let's one-shot them. It's totally dumb and not really viable for actually trying, but it's at least fun. I guess this also works for Halloween mode with all the crit pumpkins and other ridiculous
I want to play Halloween mode!
My personal recommendations for that are maps like Monster Bash and Slasher, since you can go to the Underworld at any time and get a guaranteed crit boost upon coming out that lasts a decent long time.
You go to the Underworld?
So yeah, this weapon is useful for 1 month out of the year. Now let's talk about rebalancing this thing to make it actually good. Well, like I said earlier, I'd apply the damage-piercing effect to sapper armor. You could also make it so that the 20% damage bonus applies to enemies under the effect of a damage resistance. Give it a little more of an edge against those kinds of enemies. On top of that, though, I'm really not sure what to make of this thing. It used to be really good when it had a damage bonus while undisguised, that's because most of the time, 5 out of 6
What?
shots you fire are undisguised. So buffing it to that point where it's basically a straight upgrade is easy. Giving it an entirely new,
but I guess they
versatile
changed it.
upside, which I think it pretty
What?
desperately
You
needs,
gotta round him?
is a lot harder when you're also trying to be balanced. Maybe along with the resistance piercing, it can pierce enemies like the Machina too. That's at least something. You guys probably have better ideas than me. Let me know in the comments. It's a shame this was such a nothing gun. I'll try to find something I have more to work with next time. Until then, go out there and kill really specific targets less effectively than you normally would, and blame it on fish.
Blame it on fish. Don't tell them fish sent you. Just blame it on fish. Oh, wow. That sounds really fun. Imagine one-shotting characters. That would be awesome. Like, you just get crits in your disguise and you shoot it because you get the disguise bonus. That sounds like a lot of fun. God, I want to play Scream Fortress so bad. I want to play it so bad. I also have a gaming channel. I was playing Team Fortress 2 and making videos over there. I haven't a little bit. Like I said, I'm waiting on desk. Just everything is going wrong when it comes to the progress on that. Oh, man. But like I said, Unusual Troubles will be out Sunday. I know that video was uploaded like a week ago or so. And I didn't get notified until afterwards. So... that'll be interesting. I love Bad Weapon Academy. It's fun learning about the Enforcer. I might have to try that crits disguised one-shot thing. That sounds like so much fun. Just deleting characters one shot at a time. Because you gotta land the shot, though, which will probably be difficult for me. I don't know. I think the spread is pretty bad on this thing, isn't it? I'm pretty sure that's what he talked about. But definitely some comments down below. I love reading them. I guess we'll be back next week with Gas Passer, which I've only used in Man Up before, so that should be interesting. But I hope you have a great rest of the day. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. But until the next video, take care and cue the music.